In the beginning, before time had form and matter took shape, there was only divine light, pure, radiant, and eternal. Among the angels created from this light, one shone brighter than the rest, Lucifer, the morning star. Clothed in brilliance and adorned with wisdom, Lucifer was not merely an angel. He was the pinnacle of celestial beauty, the guardian of God's throne, the bringer of light. Loved by the heavenly host and trusted with divine mysteries, he sang harmonies that resonated through the cosmos. But in his heart, a question formed, one not of rebellion at first, but of identity. Why must all praise be given to the Creator? Why, if he too was made of light, should he bow eternally? This question festered in silence. Lucifer did not speak his thoughts aloud. He watched, listened, and waited. As eons passed, his pride grew silently, nurtured in the echo of his own greatness. He saw the admiration in the eyes of lesser angels, saw the power he wielded in heaven, and began to believe he was more than a servant. He was worthy of the throne itself. When God created man, a new being of flesh and soul, and commanded all angels to bow, Lucifer's pride broke into open defiance. "I will not bow," he said, his voice cutting through eternity like a blade. "I will rise. I will ascend to the heavens. I will place my throne above the stars of God." The heavens trembled. Michael, the archangel, stood before him and offered a final chance. "Humble yourself, Lucifer. Your beauty does not make you a god." But Lucifer had already fallen in spirit. War broke out in heaven, not with swords but with light and will, with the clash of order and defiance. 1/3 of the angels followed Lucifer, seduced by the promise of power, of freedom from submission. They felt like stars cast down to earth, and Lucifer, the once glorious morning star, became Satan, the adversary. Yet his story did not end with exile. Cast into the abyss, he wandered not with regret but with purpose. He did not see his fall as defeat, but as liberation. He would rule, even in ruin. In the depths of hell, he forged his own kingdom, a throne built not from grace but from defiance. But even in hell, there was a void he could not fill. The worship he craved never came freely. His followers feared him but did not love him. They obeyed but did not adore. He had power, but not reverence. And so, his war continued, not with heaven alone, but with humanity. If he could not be God, he would destroy God's creation, not through brute force, but through corruption, temptation, and doubt. He whispered in the ears of kings, inspired tyrants, sowed division, planted seeds of pride, the same pride that led to his fall. He became the master of lies, not out of joy but necessity. In truth, Lucifer missed the light. But to return was impossible. Heaven had sealed its gates. Redemption was never offered to angels who fell, only to mankind. This stoked his fury deeper. Why should fragile, flawed humans receive grace when he, the greatest of angels, was cast away for a single refusal? He walked the earth in shadows, observing humanity's rise and fall. He saw the hypocrisy of men who prayed by day and killed by night. He saw priests cloaked in holiness, hiding corruption within. It fueled his mission, to expose the hypocrisy of divine justice, to prove that humans were no more deserving than he. Over centuries, Lucifer evolved not just as a villain, but as a symbol of rebellion, of questions never answered. Some saw him as evil incarnate, others as a tragic figure, a being condemned not because he was wicked, but because he dared to question perfection. Artists painted him not as a monster, but as a fallen prince. Poets gave him words of sorrow and rage. Philosophers pondered whether his punishment was just. And Lucifer watched, amused and wounded, a god in exile, revered by some, hated by many, forgotten by none. He wandered through time, through empires and revolutions, through the rise of religions that both damned and glorified him. He stood in the ruins of Babylon, in the flames of Rome, in the silence of Auschwitz. He was there not always as the cause, but as the echo of human darkness. He had become more than a being. He was an idea, the part of us that dares, that doubts, that refuses to kneel. And yet, behind the myth, the horns, the fire, the pitchfork, was still the memory of an angel who once carried light. His pain is not just in defeat but in being misunderstood. Lucifer's story was never just about rebellion. It was about identity, pride, and the loneliness of exile. He remains unfinished because no scripture fully tells his side, no doctrine dares explore his doubt. Perhaps because to truly understand Lucifer is to confront the possibility that darkness does not begin as evil, but as a shadow cast by too much light. In the end, Lucifer is not asking for our worship. He does not need it. He seeks only acknowledgement that his fall was not simple, his choices not monstrous, his legacy not entirely evil. From heaven to hell, his journey is a mirror to our own, the battle between light and pride, faith and freedom, obedience and self. And in that mirror, perhaps we see why his story was left unfinished, because it's still being written in each of us.